Hello. Today we are going to add coin and automatic coin generation. To start, we need to download the sprite. So this link will be attached to the comment in YouTube video. Feel free to use any other coin sprite which you prefer. So I already downloaded it and it's located here. So there is the multiple coins. I think I'll go with this spinning coin. So we need to import this into our images. And as with other, we need to configure it. So first, I'm going to use pixel per unit 16, disable compression and filtering. So now let's take one of the coin. Didn't I apply? Okay. So now let's drag it here and let's see how does it look like. And we see that it's not visible. This is because of the ordering layers, sorting layers, sorry. So we have right now background and player. Let's add one more sorting layer and call this collectible. Collectible. And it should be between background because it should be visible. It should be on top of the background, but it shouldn't be on top of the player. So player should cover our coin. Now let's select coin in the sorting layer, select collectible. And now we see our coin. I think size is pretty good. Let's rename this to the coin. And we need to add here collider because we want a player to be able to collide with the coin to pick up it. So I'm going to use capsule collider 2D. And I think it looks pretty fine. But what I'm going to do is to click here is trigger, because we don't want to for player to like collide us with the wall or with any other element. We want to be it trigger. Trigger it means that once player touch this coin, we can run some action, but no real colliding will happen as we see in previous with the wall. So make sure its trigger is here. Next, we want to add script to the coin. So let me create the scripting. Really, we need few scripts. So first would be the coin. But right now, there is nothing for us to do in the script. So let's just attach it here. Let's wait for it for a reload. Okay, because this script is going to use a thing called stats manager. I think we can reuse this game manager, which we have. So let's create another script and call it stats manager. Stats manager. And we can probably create new game object, or we can attach this to the game manager. Like, I think I will attach it right here. Now let's open this script because we need to add some functionality here. So what this task manager will be responsible, it will be responsible for showing as of now how many coins do we have. It will like calculate when we pick up, it will add, and we want this to store data, so we cannot create new stat manager to override. So we're going to utilize here a pattern. It's called singleton. So how singleton is created in Unity. So first I'm going to define public static object, which is called stats manager. And I'm calling it as instance. This is the typical name usually. You can use any, but in most example, you will find this as instance. And I'm using the same type as here is our stats manager. And next, inside of the awake, what I'm going to do is to assign instance to this object. So and here is our singleton pattern. So every time when this awake, it will be assigned to this. Next, I want to keep how much coins do we have. So let's create public, but we also need to use static, and I will show you in a minute what does word static mean. And let's call this as coins. And we can have here the method, which is also should be static, void. We are not returning anything, and we'll call this add coins. And what I'm going to do is just increase amount of coins by like by amount of value which we are passing to this function. So now we can back to the coin and let's code how we're going to pick up our coins here. So there is the method which is built in Unity, which is called on trigger enter to D. But I need to call, let's do private void on trigger enter to D. So this method executed every time when this trigger collider is executed. So every time when a player is touching the coin, and because of a coin has on trigger, tree is trigger, so it will execute this on trigger enter to D method. And what we want to do here? First, we want to check if this is the really player, because we don't want like other coins or any other object to interact with coin and pick up. So there is two ways how we can do it. First is to using the tags, and second is using components. So if I would go with the tags, so if I go here to the Unity, we have here player, I can have a tag player on my player. And here we have this collider to the other. This is the information about the object which we are colliding with. So in our case, we want to check if this other is player. So how can I do it? So I'm doing if other, I'm comparing the tag player, and now I can do something here inside. So if the object has the tag player, this code will be executed. Another way, we can check the component. So I can do get component, and I want to receive player component. And I need to make sure this not equal to the null. So this is work very similar to the previous, but we are checking if the this other, which is in our case, we want player, it check if there is the player component. And because there is, code will be executed. So you can go with any of options. I think I would keep it as it is. And next, we want to utilize our stats manager, which is a static class. So I can type here stats manager, and I can call here add coins and let it be one, but we can create serialized field because we may have like coin to give different value on certain conditions. So, and it will be amount, private int amount. And here, let's use the amount. So now our coin is ready and we can save it as prefab. This is the new thing which we didn't cover yet. So let's start by creating folders and call it prefabs. This is the folder where we're going to store all the prefabs. And how to create prefab? I'm just clicking here on the coin and I'm just dragging it here. So now I can delete coin from our IR hierarchy, and I have it here. You see it has all of our config, it has amount. Let's keep it amount as 5 maybe. And now I can simply drag those coins on the screen and they would be added automatically. But it's not, I think, good idea to do this manually. We can create coin spawn manager. So let's define another object and let's call it coin spawner. Will be nothing inside of this object, only script. Let's create new script and it will be called as coin spawner. Now let's drag this coin spawner to our coin spawner. So this is here. Let's open it. So coin spawner would be responsible for spawning the coins. We don't need those methods right now, but we need few fields. So first, we want to know what kind of coin to spawn. So I'm going to use serialized field, private GameObject coin prefab. So now, when I go here to the coin spawner, let me open, it's waiting for the prefab, coin prefab. So I can go to the prefabs folder and I can just drag this. So this particular coin spawner is going to spawn coin prefabs. We may have different like coin spawners which is spawn different kind of coins. But let's introduce another fields which we need to add. So next one is would be a serialized field, also private, int and min amount and max amount. It will be, we're going to spawn those coins randomly. So for example, one time it can spawn 5 coins, next time it can be 10, depend on those values. And we also need to introduce one more field, but probably no, we don't need it right now. So now let's create a start method which is executed every time when we start our game. And here I'm going to call method spawn coins, which does not exist right now, but we will create it. So now create method. So here is our spawn coins method. So what are we going to do here? So first we want to know how many coins do we want to spawn. So we will use variable called spawn amount, and to find we are going to use min and max value. So I have random dot range where I can specify min amount and max amount. So every time it will pick some random value between min and max. And now we're ready to spawn the coins. So we're going to use for loop. How does for loop work? So in for loop, we have defined I as our parameter and default value is 0. And loop will be executed until I is less than our spawn amount. And after every loop, we're going to increase I by 1. So just to demonstrate, I can do here as debug.log, and I can print I. Now let's go to the Unity. Let's specify min amount as 5, max amount as 10. And now when I start the game, we should see some random numbers. So you see it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and etc. 30 and 37 is coming from somewhere else where we have the debug. So this time it was spawned like 9 coins. Let's stop the game. And now let's spawn the coins itself. So to spawn the coins, we're going to use instantiate method, which is accept few parameters. So first is what we are going to create. And in our case, this is coin prefab, which we saved here as variable. Next is position, where it will be created. Next is the angle, but we are not like we are using pattern identity to not change the angle. And this is transform. This is the optional, but it means the parent of our object. So let me first get rid of this. And now let's start the game just to show you the difference. So once I start in the game, you see it's created multiple coins, but they located in the root of our scene, which is not very convenient because we may have like hundreds of those coins to be created. So I'm going to specify here transform, and this is the parent under which those coins need to be saved. And because we're using the coin spawner, so this is transform of coin spawner, it will save all of them under coin spawner. So this time, all of them here. And also we have another issue. So you see that coins, all of the coins are spawned as under one coin. So we don't have them with any like separation between each other. So now let me put it somewhere here. So this is where our spawn manager located, and we can give it some icon, probably something like this, or maybe let's choose yellow one. Yeah. So here is where our spawn manager is located. So we want to make some shift. How can we do it? We can calculate the offset. But first we need to know like coin of how many coins we have. Or maybe like let's do it without this first. So how can we do this offset? We can create vector2. It needs to be vector2, otherwise we won't be able to add this vector2 to this transform position, which is also vector2. And we're going to calculate offset, which is equal, and let's do it like new vector3. Let's remove all of this, we don't need it. And what we are going to use here, we're going to use I, and we're going to use 0. And for Z, we're also going to use 0. So right now, every coin, so first it will be like 1, then it will be 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. And what we're going to do is to add this offset. So now let's try to run the game. And let's see if something happened. So right now, we see that we have the coins. But right now, our coins are static. There is no animation, so let's create animation for our coin. Let's back to our prefab. We're going to work with the prefab. And for prefab, we are going to add component animator in the similar way as we did already with the player. Okay, now let's go to the animation. Let's create here player folder and just move everything related to the player here. And go to the animation, create animation controller, which will be called coin. Open our prefab. Let's add it here so it will be easier to manage. Go here and drag controller. But because this is prefab, we need to save. So we have override, like apply all. And this will save changes to this particular game object, which we have in hierarchy, to our prefab. So now when I go to the prefab, I click here. So animator is here. Now let's open animator, and we need to create the animation clip for the coin. So let's go to the animation clip, and we can call it as coin idle. Let's open animator, but we need to coin. Let's drag it here. So this is our default state, coin idle, and now we can drag our images. So here is our images. I'm just dragging it. It's wrong. Go to the scene, select coin, select all of those, and drag it here. Sample rate, I'm saying 10 should be fine. And now let's play. And you see we have the animation which is moving. Let's stop it. Okay. And now let's try to run the game. We have animation which should be played by default once we start the game. Let's start. And now we have coins, but they moved just one time and they no longer moving. Let's check our clip. Make sure looping is enabled. Loop time. And now all of them should move simultaneously. So yeah, we see the movement happening. Let's stop the game. We no longer need this coin. Let's put somewhere right here and make sure let's make sure player can pick up. Player can pick up, but after coin is picked, where is our coin? We need also to destroy because we're going to increase amount, but we also need to destroy game object so it no longer would be present on our thing. Okay, I think that's all. Now let's try to run the game, and player should pick up, and we should see the value in the. Probably we can expose just for just add some debug statement to see how many coins do we have. So we have here state manager, and in the add coin, I'm going to just print how many coins do we have in the console. So now let's open the game. Some coins would be generated. Let's run and let's see the console. So right now our player have 35 coins. So that's all for today. Have a nice day.